On this week's episode, the new trailer for the Whitney Houston biopic filmed mostly in Boston is released. We are reacting to it, reviews for a new horror movie and a new whodunit film, and of course, our local casting calls. For the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
And I'm Jamie, and I want to dance with somebody. Oh!
Let's go. Welcome back for another jam-packed episode of the Hub on Hollywood. Thank you so much for tuning in, whether you are watching us on YouTube or listening on any of the major podcasting streaming services. We thank you. As a big thank you, if you join the conversation, we will be sure to throw you a big shout-out. So be sure to join us in our thoughts, our reviews, and our theories. Leave your comments at Hub on Hollywood on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all the social medias. We are there as well. And Jamie, we are also looking for actors and local filmmakers, right?
That's right. So if you are a stunt guy, a background actor, a front round actor,
anybody,
if you're a cameraman, if you are someone who's working in the New England film industry, we want to talk to you. We want to showcase you. We want to feature you here on the Hub on Hollywood because we're so proud of you. We are so very proud of you, and we're
here to service the people.
Yes, exactly. And we want to inspire folks who, want to pursue film and acting. And there's so many great opportunities here in New England. It's the place to be. It's Hollywood East. That is why we're called the Hub on Hollywood. So we want to give you the spotlight here on our podcast. So reach out. We'll find you. You found us. Let's connect, guys. Let's connect.
Yeah, that includes sharing all these casting calls, amazing casting calls that we have. We are going to be hitting up those in a bit, as well as reacting to the new I Want to Dance with Somebody trailer of the infamous story of Whitney Houston. But first, let's start with our entertainment roundup. Jamie, did you hear Avatar? Yeah, it's coming back to theaters for the younger generation who may have not existed back in 2009. Before Avatar 2, 3, and 4, before they make their ways onto the big screen, James Cameron is re-releasing Avatar, the original one that came out in 2009, later this month on September 23rd. Jamie, are you going to go back to the movie theater to watch Avatar?
If I can. Yeah, absolutely. It was an amazing film when it first released, in the graphics, in the storytelling, mostly visually though, something that had never really been done the way that James Cameron had done it.
It really revitalized 3D. Like after Avatar, everything, even if it wasn't made to be viewed in 3D, every movie was just reconfigured to show and become 3D, which did not work for many movies, including I think the one also starring Sam Worthington, where he plays like one of the Greek gods, and Liam Neeson's also in it. They tried 3Ding that movie, and it just didn't look good. But Avatar, the first one coming out, it doesn't say whether this re-release will also be done in 3D. But either way, it should still look grand and amazing. So I may go pop into movie theater and check out that before Avatar 2 comes out.
And and like you said, this was 13, 14 years ago that it came out. It's tough. It's tough when it takes that long to make the sequel to a movie because you've skipped an entire generation. People don't remember the original. So it's a great strategy to get people up to speed and also get more money in your pocket. It's a win-win for the studio.
Of course.
So let's go. Let's go see it.
Let's go. Now, as for something or somebody that people have never forgotten about, Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves, he is reprising his role as Constantine. This is 17 years after Constantine came out, starring Keanu Reeves and Shia LaBeouf in that one as well. Did you see this one in theaters?
I didn't see Constantine, unfortunately, no.
So it's based off a DC graphic novel where this is more into the spiritual realm of the superhero characters out there, where Constantine has to battle demons and everything else that's, on the other side of the living plane. And so a lot of people were very demanding that there be a sequel to this movie, because even though this version of Constantine isn't an exact or very closely related to the comic. There are many things that are very similar, though it's not exactly faithful to the comics. A lot of people enjoyed Keanu Reeves' character and portrayal in this, and so people who have been demanding there be a sequel are finally being appeased with this.
Yeah.
And so I recommend, if you haven't seen the first one, I would check it out.
Okay.
It's definitely on one of the streaming services.
My question is he supposed to be like an unaging character, or is he human? Because it's been a while, and Keanu, how long are they going to be able to keep Keanu young? You know
this
what I mean?
character is an aging human, so it should follow the timeline.
Which leads to this question for you real quick, James.
Yes.
As we just going back a little bit to Avatar, now films are made in Ultra HD, and some people have been complaining that they feel like the trailers for the new Avatar movie seem a little bit off. They don't. Maybe they're a little bit too sharp now, a little bit too, a little bit different than what it was 13, 14 years ago. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Do you think maybe Ultra HD is taking it too far, so that now these really cool CGI characters are looking a little bit uncanny because everything is just too crisp?
I'm not sure, because they're nowadays. I saw a lot of the making of the new Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, and there's so many things in that movie where you don't think it looks CGI at all, whether that's characters or costume design or anything, and then you find out after the fact that whole thing was all CGI. So I think just CGI keeps getting better and better. Yeah, there are new 4K TVs and new ways to view things. But for the most part, I think CGI and VFX are mostly standing up. You can argue that when you bring up She-Hulk into the conversation, where that's not always looking so super realistic. So I think it just depends on how much time and money studios are going to be investing in it. If they do, as something that James Cameron does, I think we're in good hands.
Okay, fair enough.
Now, something that may not be in such good hands is the new Sony Pictures version of Garfield. I know you've been dying to see Garfield brought back to screen after the Bill Murray version of Garfield 1 and 2, I think, when Garfield goes to London. But Sony, they say that their upcoming Garfield film is being pushed back by several months. The studio announcing that the animated reboot will be debuting in May of 2024 instead of the original plan of releasing it on February 16th. The film is set to star Chris Pratt in the lead role of Garfield. So really quick, initial thoughts of Chris Pratt voicing Garfield. I'm assuming he's voicing him. He's not going to be dressing up as a cat with cat ears.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of voiceover work. I feel like it can work. I am of the opinion that not every CGI character needs to have an A-lister as their voice actor. There are a lot of really, really talented voice actors out there that I feel like in recent years have been pushed out a little bit because now they want to give everybody, every A-lister a shot at an animated character. So it doesn't have to be Chris Pratt, I guess, is my opinion. And here's the other opinion that I have created that I am starting to coalesce around, James. Not every cartoon needs to be live action. Okay? It's like 80% fail rate, guys. Stop it. That's my hot take on that one. Hate me for that if you.
Now this does say this does say it's an animated reboot, so I'm not sure if it's entirely animated, if it's a part of live action either. But Samuel L. Jackson is cast as Garfield's father.
He's in everything.
He's in everything. Speaking about Chris Pratt, though, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Chris Pratt voicing Mario in an upcoming Mario and Luigi movie? Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear that. Like, I'm a Mario. I can't imagine Chris Pratt's voice like that, though. Couldn't they get an Italian guy?
So apparently, according to Mario Brothers co-producer Chris Meledandri, nail that pronunciation, he's confirming that Pratt won't be using an accent, and he's also revealing that the film will reference the familiar "It's a Me" voice. Interesting. So he says we cover it in the movie, so you'll have to definitely you'll have a nod to Mario's voice. This sounds like it can't fail, right, Jamie?
Yeah, that's just a total recipe for success, James. I am not confident in that whatsoever. So Take that for what you will.
Well, let's talk about something that has been successful, and that is the amazing and well-regarded Ted Lasso show that has just won, I think, at least one Emmy, right? And now somebody, a producer, Chip Hamilton from Massachusetts, is getting a lot of praise and recognition that he so deservedly deserves.
Deservedly deserves, and he is from Townsend. He is from the town of Townsend, CBS News Radio, giving him a spotlight. You know, a proud local boy, talking about working his way up and becoming a part of this great project. So we always love to see our local talent doing well, getting the recognition they deserve, and it's just really cool to see.
It's one of those shows where I hear it's so good. I believe it's on Apple TV, but I don't have Apple TV, so I'm taking people's word that it's really, really good. Jason Sudeikis, he is great in everything that he does. So it's not hard to believe that it's a great show. Obviously, this is not the first time that it's been regarded in such high praise. Have you seen Ted Lasso?
Not yet. It's on the list.
On the list. Many things are on the list.
They really are.
Speaking about things that are on the list, so many good movies that people are dying to go see in the movie theaters. One of those new films is The Woman King, starring Viola Davis. That movie debuted this weekend and has actually taken the top spot at the weekend box office. It's a true story of an all-female military group that protects a West African kingdom that's received rave reviews on the way to an $18 million opening. This is one movie I'm excited to go see. There's some controversy because the tribe that is portrayed in this film, because it's based off true events, there are people pointing out that this tribe actually participated in the slave trade back in the day, and there are people who think that this movie or this tribe or these characters should not be shown in a positive light. However, there are people that bounce back saying, the movie itself talks about the conflict over the slave trade, and you have characters that are pro and characters that are against it. So I haven't seen it, but it is getting great reviews, and it apparently does cover that topic, so it's not something that seems to be glossed over, something that people are alleging. People who may have not seen the movie are trying to paint this broad brush. But big popular film. Barbarian taking the second spot. That's actually a movie that I will be reviewing at later in this episode, and I'll be talking about why I think you should definitely see this movie. So really happy that it is taking the second spot in the box office. Really great stuff. Let's jump right into our trailer reaction to I Want to Dance with Somebody, the Whitney Houston biopic.
Somebody. Yes, the Whitney Houston biopic. We are so excited about this. The very first trailer dropped. It was filmed here in Boston. That final scene there in the trailer with everyone in the stadium and her giving that rendition of the national anthem was shot in Gillette Stadium with thousands of extras. It was such an event when they were filming this movie here, because they needed so very many people to come in and be a part of it. And they got, and these extras got to listen to the singing, got to listen to the performing in various different ways all around Massachusetts. So very, very cool to see those locales, to see the number of local actors that were involved. I think it's going to be a really great movie.
I think it's great that they use the actual people and extras in the audience, because nowadays you'd see them all digitally introduced or inserted in there.
And I think they might have done that to an extent.
Oh, I'm sure.
But they did use as many people as they could, which I really appreciate. And this was during COVID, so, extra props to them for finding a way to make it work. Starring Naomi Ackie as Whitney Houston, Ashton Sanders as Bobby Brown, Stanley Tucci as Clive Davis.
I want to apologize to Stanley Tucci. I said he looked like Al Pacino. Of course, he had some makeup on him, so forgive me. But yeah, Stanley Tucci.
Well, apparently he can play
Al Pacino.
Al Pacino.
Yeah.
So if there's an Al Pacino biopic that for some reason
Tucci's
Al Pacino cannot do himself, there you go, Stanley Tucci.
All right.
So really great cast. It looks amazing. I think the trailer looks great. I think it looks authentic, and I really can't wait to see and learn about her story, because there's a lot that we didn't know.
Now here's the thing. Now because you want to learn, you said you want to learn about her story. The creators of Bohemian Rhapsody made this movie as well. Some criticism that Bohemian got was that it wasn't so accurate. It didn't show the ups and downs or the drama or the controversy around Freddie Mercury's life. And so there are people that have raised concerns online saying, Whitney Houston's life was a roller coaster of high highs and very low lows. Will her story be kind of cleaned up and made shiny, glossened up in this film based off the people who made Bohemian Rhapsody?
Well, we'll see, because one of the things that I've learned about Whitney Houston is, and they touched on it in the trailer a little bit, is that the accusations of not being black enough and her music not being black enough. And apparently Al Sharpton led protests against her and made her life very difficult. Things that I never knew. So that's, I'm hoping that we see more of that in the movie, and I think that we probably will, given what they teased in the trailer. But very, very interesting. I have a feeling that this is going to be better than the Bohemian Rhapsody.
Okay, let us know what your thoughts are. Naomi Ackie is the actress playing Whitney Houston. What are your thoughts on how she looks? Does she feel like Whitney? Is she, based off what we've seen so far, does she embody the Whitney spirit that we so much love and miss? Okay, let's just jump right into our casting calls, because as we mentioned, there were thousands of extras in the Whitney Houston biopic. There are many more roles for you, both on the big and small screen. And so I could get started with the first one. This is a casting notice for Bonfire. Billy Dowd Casting also involved in this. They are looking for women, brunette, 5'3", thin, brunette, Caucasian. Another woman who's 5'9", who fits size 4 with an hourglass body type, also Caucasian. They're looking for a Caucasian male who is around 6'1" with a jacket size of 42L, and they're also looking for an African American woman, 5'4", who is around the size of an 8 and 10. If you meet these requirements, send your information to Billy Dowd Casting. That is shooting here in the greater Boston area as well as in Randolph. Awesome.
And then we've got Claire is shooting right now, codename Claire, which is actually the Sony Madam Web, which is the next movie that is exploring the Spider-Verse. The Sony Spider-Verse that includes Venom and whatnot. So they had been filming this past weekend in Worcester. They put out flyers for the general public saying that they were going to be shooting some action scenes and whatnot over the weekend. So that's great. They are still looking for background folk. So if you are interested in any of those opportunities, you're going to want to go to KendallCooperCasting.com and check that out. For opportunities to be in the Madam Web movie.
Boston Casting, they're looking for actors who can portray not both, but they're looking for actors who can portray Thomas Edison and an actor who can play Albert Einstein. This is for a short museum film. They are looking for good actors who resemble these men by age and hair color. If chosen, hair and makeup will transform you into one of the iconic figures. So they're looking for men in their 50s to 70 year range who can play either Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein. This shoots on October 6th through the 12th and pays $625. So if you think you look like or know somebody who looks like Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein, you or they send their information, name, contact, headshot, resume, pictures, and a bio. Send all that to Boston Casting Headshot and Resume at gmail.com. Boston Casting Headshot and Resume at gmail.com. In the subject line, put your name / role name. So that would either be Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein.
Right. And then we've got from Boston Casting, they're looking for cars from the late 70s and early 80s for a feature film. If that sounds like you, they're shooting this month and next month. You're going to want to submit your name, contact information, photos of the car, photo of yourself to Boston Casting Collaboration at gmail.com. And in the subject line, write 70s / 80s car.
Boston Casting also seeking men who speak French for a commercial project. They're looking for men 18 to 30 years old for this non-union gig. Acting experience is a plus. This shoots starting September 28th or the 29th, and will pay $750 per shooting day. So if you speak French, are between 18 and 30 years old, and you are a man, submit your contact information, cell phone, email, photo, resume, language, experience. Send all that to Boston Casting Summer Project at gmail.com. In the subject line, put male French speaker / your name.
So Boston Casting is also handling a movie called The Collaboration, starring Paul Bettany. They're working on a novelist project. They're working on the next season of Julia. So many opportunities coming out of Boston Casting. So what are you waiting for? Go to bostoncasting.com, sign up there to get emails for free, and see if you can be a background actor in one of these great projects. Boston Casting is also looking for handsome, blonde male actors for a feature film. Must be handsome, must be tall and blonde, mid-20s to the mid-30s. Pays very well, so they want you to submit your contact information, headshot resume to Boston Casting headshot and resume at gmail.com and write blonde male actor and your name in the subject line.
All right, fantastic. So again, if you know somebody who meets or reaches any of those descriptions or requirements, send your information, because people get discovered all the time. So who knows? This could be your big break, your family, friends, loved ones' big break as well. So you can also listen to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services.
That is right.
That's right. So Jamie, are you a fan of horror movies? I don't think you're a big fan, right?
I'm not a big fan of horror movies. If it's got like an interesting hook that is besides the jump scares and the gore, like you could get me in, but I'm on the fence.
Well, maybe Barbarian is a movie for you then, because this is a non-spoiler review for Barbarian. It came out last week, but it is such a really good horror movie. So this basically is a woman staying at an Airbnb only to discover that the house she rented is not what it seems. Georgina Campbell plays Tess, a woman who flies into Detroit for a job interview and has to stay at an Airbnb in the meantime. But it's not until she gets to the house on a dark, rainy night that she finds out there's already somebody else staying there at the Airbnb, a man named Keith, played by Bill Skarsgård, famously from It. Now, without anywhere else to go and against her better judgment, Tess decides to spend the night, and that's when things get weird. Let me tell you, this is one of those movies where you need to go in not knowing anything. Like, don't check out the trailers, though they don't reveal much. Don't look at reviews. Don't try to find out any information about this movie before you go into it, because this movie is such a fun horror ride that keeps you guessing as the movie takes left turn after left turn after left turn. Again, without saying much, Georgina Campbell, she is excellent in this film, along with Bill Skarsgård. Justin Long, he comes in, he plays an actor named AJ. But again, without giving away too many details of this movie, I think Barbarian is a refreshing take on the horror genre. I highly recommend this film. It's out right now in theaters. I wish I could say more, but that would be giving away so many different aspects about this film. But Barbarian, check it out.
It's great to hear that, you were so excited about it that you don't want to give anything away and that there's something interesting there. But I think it's so funny in your description, the against her better judgment, she decided, because if she had better judgment, I'm sure there would be no movie.
No. I mean,
I won't stay there. The end.
Bye. Clearly, this was a big mistake. I need to go home now.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Barbarian out in theaters right now. Go and run to your theater and check it out. Speaking about running, my second review is a movie called See How They Run. This is a take on the whodunit murder mystery genre. So this is a story in the West End of 1950s London. Plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered. Well, world-weary Inspector Stoppard, played by Sam Rockwell, the amazing Sam Rockwell, and eager rookie Constable Stalker, played by Saoirse Ronan, they find themselves thrown into a puzzling whodunit within the glamorous theater underground, investigating the mysterious homicide at their own peril. Have you seen a trailer for this film?
I have not, but it sounds interesting.
The trailer gives the vibes of Knives Out, another great whodunit murder mystery film. Though I'll try not to compare this movie to Knives Out, because Knives Out is on a whole other level of greatness. But this movie, I think, is very fun. It's filled with lots of laughs, especially between Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan. They bounce off of each other so well. They're very funny together. It's a movie that's also very self-aware of itself and, hits on the murder mystery tropes. It's very fun because, as I mentioned in the synopsis, somebody pivotal to this smash hit play is killed. And the murder mystery play inside of a murder mystery film, they parallel each other in many ways. I will say a bit of criticism. I would say the supporting characters are not as strong as the two main leads. And again, I hate to compare it to Knives Out, where in Knives Out, every character in the film is interesting. It's funny, have their own different motives and perspectives, and each one they feel very lived in. This one, the supporting characters are not as strong, but I think Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan are enough to keep the movie going. Also, the costumes, the shooting locations, and the style are beautiful. This is a well-filmed movie. It makes you want to hang out in 1950s London. It has everything to it, the aesthetic, the vibe, the feel. That alone is enough. It should be enough to bring people into the movie. Not sure if you have to rush to the movie theater to see this film, but it's a fun whodunit. I recommend it.
That's great. And I think that I really love the fact that, to mention Knives Out again, Rian Johnson and Knives Out proved that the whodunit genre is back. That people still love it and are interested in it, and it draws on classic noir, classic, mystery movies and stuff like that, and bringing that into modern day. I love that. I love that. That's why I love Rian Johnson so much, because he is so unique and brave in the ideas that he brings forward, and they are fresh and refreshing, and I just love Rian Johnson. Just wanted to have an opportunity to
You got to. Yeah, this movie actually gets me a little more hyped up for Glass Onion, the sequel to Knives Out. So if you like the murder mystery genre, if you want a fresh take on it as well, I would recommend See How They Run. That's out in theaters right now. And again, Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, what more do you need? Those two bounce off of each other so well. It's enjoyable. I recommend it.
All right. I will run, James. I will run to the theater as soon as I can and see those recommendations.
Anything you're watching right now?
I am watching the back of my eyelids. That's what it's been a very crazy week in our household over here. But we had been watching Sing 2 for the last few weeks with my kids, and we went back and we watched Sing 1, which is just called Sing. And I prefer Sing 2 better. So, just doing a little roundup of the kids' movies that we are watching in our house to make it through the day.
Excellent. Well, what are you watching to get through the day? Let us know what you are either streaming at home or seeing in the movie theaters. Again, join the conversation. We'll give you a shout out. Also looking for local actors, local filmmakers in and around New England. We would love to have you on the Hub on Hollywood to talk about your project and anything that's coming up. So email us email us I can't even speak right now. Email us.
Hollywood.
Hub on Hollywood. That's who we are.
At gmail.com.
Perfect.
James is just a little drunk, guys. It's okay.
Well, thank you so much for joining us on this drunken stupor of a show. We come back next week where we will have more reviews, more local filming news, details, and casting calls, and more fun.
That's right.
Fair.
That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Until then, my name is Jamie.
I'm James.
See you then.
Bye.